Okay,
That's really important.
the National ACLU has stated that if Chattanooga has ever let or allowed somebody to stay, like here, if they allowed someone to camp here overnight, they cannot arrest you for camping here overnight because they have let someone do it in the past.
Oh, well, that's
So that is something that needs to be researched.
Here all the time.
One at a time.
Yes, sir.
That is something that needs to be researched, and we developed a committee in Indianapolis to research things like that. I forget what the committee was called, but I seriously suggest things like this General Assembly needs to be live streamed. It needs to be put out on the internet because that's the quickest way to get information across from around the globe, from Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Naptown, well, Indianapolis, Occupy Boston, Occupy San Francisco. That is the quickest way we can get information. And also, if you are on the live stream and you do get arrested, the quickest way to get out is for people to see that you're arrested and see your name on the internet. You will have 15, 16,000 people calling in for your release.
I think it's important that we go ahead and stress to the City Council over the next few days that if you type in on the internet Occupy and then the name of a city, you don't miss. There's a page there, there's a Facebook page there, and it's almost certain that there's a camp there. It's just a matter of which one they want to imitate. They want to be Los Angeles? Do they want to be Oakland? They're going to work out something in between. They have to come to understand that.
So I'm hearing a lot of different concepts about how we can move ahead, and I think that there are three kind of initial branching points that we can talk about. I'm hearing, on the one hand, we had a location that we discussed, and some people came to this prepared to go there. One option would be to simply go there and begin our encampment. A second option would be to, at that location or another location, occupy sidewalks in order to circumvent curfews. And the third concept would be to simply go home and arrive at a location tomorrow during the day when the curfew isn't in effect. So if everyone's all right with it, I kind of like to go through those three options and see which one we most prefer so that we can decide where and how we'd like to do that. So as for the first option, for immediate occupation, how do people feel? Is anyone immediately opposed to having an immediate occupation tonight at the green space as we discussed before? Can we come to a consensus on that? The question is, can we come to a consensus on an immediate occupation of the green space at Ross's Landing?
What green space?
It's the green space
hold on,
adjacent to Cold Stone Creamery.
Okay, we're gonna vote, and you know, everybody who hasn't seen this, the sign, this is yes, this is I don't really care, and this is no, I'm gonna walk away if y'all do this. And so we'll count to three. So what are we voting on again?
The proposal right now is to have an immediate occupation at the green space between Cold Stone Creamery and Ross's Landing. All right, I've seen substantial blocking there. So we're not going to do that just now. As for the second option, to sleep someplace on the sidewalks tonight or occupy someplace on the sidewalks tonight, either there or somewhere else, and then occupy the park during the day when it's legal. How do people feel about that? Can we consensus on that? Are there any blocks? If so, please hold your thumb up very high.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Isn't it illegal to sleep on the sidewalk in this city?
As we've been discussing, as long as you're not blocking the sidewalk, it shouldn't be illegal. It may be that there's a local statute against lying down.
Can I point of information? Most cities do have a sit-lie law, which isn't enforced, but it can be enforced. And so a lot of times, like loitering, for instance, is a sit-lie example of a sit-lie law. Sitting on a park bench for too long, I mean, most people won't have it enforced against them, so very few people are aware of it, but it does get enforced. If somebody's sitting there all day and you look homeless or something like that, so there is a precedent for it.
Now for the fourth suggestion.
Oh, hold on
Number
one second.
Wait.
Howard.
Let's finish this first.
Abdullah Yakin, we the people. I'm on Shallerford Road, and I just want to see if this correlates a little bit, guys, so that we have an understanding of what the law is. Currently, there is a labor dispute with Whirlpool. and they're on the property. They're on the sidewalk with a gigantic banner. And they're posted, they have the barrel, so at nighttime if they get cold, they'll burn. Okay, so we need, this is why I say, guys, we need to have our law committee really diving deep for us, because sometimes we just want to support, and sometimes we just don't have the capacity to dive deep enough. But there are some things that can be done as taxpayers that we can do, and we can piggyback off of some of the labor disputes. Because that's what I do. I try to fight for the people. There's a situation in which if you have a problem against Walmart because they are indifferent with people about the unions, you have the right to pass leaflets out even on private property. So if you're having a labor dispute like Whirlpool is having, people are camping out in front of the Lowe's with gigantic banners, and you can say they're sleeping, you can say they're not sleeping. We're going to have enough people up and walking where we're not going to let anybody who's lying down get subjected to whatever the police will try to pull. Hey, wake up, stand up, sit up, drink this cup of coffee until, you know, the police die down or whatever. But it's going to be enough people up and roaming. If this is decided to be the spot, there'll be enough people up on patrol anyway, because we wouldn't want anything to happen to anybody who is happening to be catching a nap or some shut-eye.
Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
I do have a point of interest about state property, and we ran into this in Indianapolis. If you are on state property, it has to be a vertical protest. You cannot erect buildings. You cannot sleep.
You cannot have structures. A big umbrella is considered a structure.
Right.
It's all considered structure.
Yes.
Who am I speaking? Do we have class leader? Okay. You know, I've met with some of the folks in both groups. I've talked with them. Try to do as much as we can to help, you guys with the protest, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's a healthy process. We invite you to do that. Sorry. Go ahead and speak up. Okay. We appreciate you coming out and doing what you're doing. We appreciate how you guys acted at the Bank of America. And I appreciate you treating my officers with respect like you did that day. And to be honest with you, I've looked at your list, some of them, with the exception of legalizing marijuana. There's not too many that I don't agree with. I just think you guys, I think you have a healthy process. I think you're gaining ground with this thing, but I just ask you, if you'll go through and get a permit, come down. If you want to block the entire street, if you want to block the entire length of Market Street off and do a protest, I'll do that for you. But I just can't allow you to selectively break the laws. Okay. And I'm asking you not to put us in that position. Like I said, we agree with probably 99% of what you guys are saying and doing. But if you'll just work with us, trust me, I've been over backwards as much as I can on this thing, but you're putting us in a bad situation. And I just don't see how sleeping out in the public or in a park, I don't see how that benefits anything. If you want to set up somewhere during the day, set up a tent, come and go, do whatever, protest all day long. We have no problem with that.
We work. Yeah.
Well,
it allows us to gather and discuss and communicate.
Well, that's not a problem. But you can do it in shifts.
Not doing the 24/7.
I understand that.
So Chief, what is wrong, Chief? If we want to congregate at 2 o'clock in the morning, why would that be a problem with you? We're all adults.
Well, if you're not in a park, that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Where would you recommend?
Where would you?
Well, I can't do that.
Why not?
Trying to get me to join the protest here.
You're welcome to join us. We're part of 99%.
You guys are underpaid just like we are.
And I appreciate that. I understand that. But you got to understand, I have a job.
I understand.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming down here and talking.
Well, and we've tried to do that from the start and try to help, on both sides. But if you will do the legal process, get a permit, let us know where you want to be. And again, what's better than to make a mark?
We have the legal right under the Constitution, my brother.
Sir?
We have the legal right under the Constitution to peacefully assemble. That's the Constitution and law of the United States.
I agree with you.
I'm just upholding the law. Well, brother, that's the highest law in this land is the Constitution.
And I agree with you.
You fought for it and died for it. My grandfather, your grandfather.
I agree with you, sir.
That wasn't no joke, man.
I agree with you.
Bullets flying.
And that is the will of the people, is the Constitution and the supreme law of the land.
Also, Chief, you swore when you became a police officer, you swore that you would uphold the Constitution. You didn't swear that you would uphold city council. You said that you would uphold the Constitution.
Well, the Constitution and the city and state ordinance, ordinance and state laws as well.
Understand.
So
Understand.
All three of those are combined.
They conflict with each other. It's a big problem.
Oh, no, I'm just walking.
Chief, if you can't make a recommendation, could you respond to our suggestions with a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I won't do the thumbs up. I actually saw that process the other night and it confused me.
This is clapping.
I got that.
That's not how it
Gladiator voting.
That is actually the wrong way to do OWS.
Yes.
This is agreeing. This is in between. This is no. And this is blocking.
24/7, right?
And this,
The Constitution is a
a
24/7 document, right?
That's correct.
Then the curfew shouldn't be there because that's not 24/7. Excuse me.
I understand your point, but you have to understand mine. It's a current city ordinance.
Right. Absolutely.
Based on gangs, guns, and drugs, which we have none of.
Well, that's not what it's based on.
Where do we get $500 per person?
I think that was
Well, I'll tell you what. Who said the $500 thing?
What?
That was one of the questions, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, we can work. The first time that you guys met here, you got one without the $500. The other group met in Coolidge Park. They got it without the $500, just paid the permit fee. That's not an issue. Pay the $25 permit fee, and I'll talk to the Parks and Recs folks about waiving the $500 deposit.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to let you know I appreciate you guys being here and working with us, and that we are working really hard to try to stay within the law, and that's what we've been discussing here, kind of trying to figure out, what those laws are, so that way we can stay within the laws, because we support you guys, and we don't ever want this to put us in a position where there's a conflict there, because we know you guys support us as well. And that is one of our biggest goals, is not to make this about that, to stay focused on our goals. And we appreciate you coming down here. And we did go to Parks and Recreation. I think our biggest conflict there is that none of the permits allow us for a 24-hour indefinite occupation, which is our goal. And that is the current movement throughout the nation.
Well, now we'll tell you where there's locations in the county. Chester Frost Park has 7-day limits. Some of the state parks have 7 to 14-day limits where you can set up there, and you can set up.
Those are all government restraints.
And we understand that as part
Well, the media is going to come wherever you are.
Well,
we're not doing it for the media.
Well, and part of our movement will be, we will have marches to, Bank of America. We'll have marches to, federal buildings and these sorts of things. It's imperative, really, to our goals to be within the downtown business district. For the reasons of our movement, and that's why it is such a challenge. And we definitely don't want to put you guys in a bad position, because we're here for you guys too. And I know there's several police officers that have been involved and been supporting us as well. And we don't want to ever put you guys in that position. Our main thing is trying to get the guys above you guys to say, okay, you don't have to enforce that curfew or whatever it may be, so that way that's taking that barrier away where there's no conflict between us. That's ultimately our goal.
You don't have to enforce something that's unlawful.
I would like to say, I mentioned earlier, some folks heard me. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. And in 1992, 10,000 police officers protested without permit, City Hall. NYPD officers without permit, 10,000 flowed over the Brooklyn Bridge. The people stood with you.
Right.
You did not abide by, and I mean the collective you.
Sure,
there was no adherence to. They're complying with a right to be heard. And these were the police officers.
I understand.
And we stood with you.
And we will help you in any way we can between daylight and 10:30 at night. And I mean,
you have free speech.
No, it's not free speech. No, I mean, you can mock me if you want to. I mean, seriously.
I do have a point.
Can we get above just, a little bit?
Anyway,
but here's what I'm saying. I mean, so you go over and stand
like
at 2:30 in the morning.
Though.
What are you going to
prove by doing that? I do want to hear what you have to say, but I would like, as one human being to another, you to address what I just told you.
But all the
are
officers
you telling me
that
that you disagree with
the NYPD protest in 1992?
I don't know what that was about, so I can't say one or the other whether I do or not.
It was about wages and lost benefits and lost jobs.
You know, I can't comment on something that's far removed from here. I don't know.
Well, it's an opinion.
You in the back.
I know,
I'm sorry.
You know that we're here because we care, and we only ask of you to make the right decisions and prepare and plan accordingly, and don't violate the city ordinance to put us in a position that is counterproductive to what your message that you're trying to send out. It hurts your message.
You know, if you think about it, what makes more or gets more attention if you have 1,000 people out here protesting in a march, supported by the police, supported by traffic engineers, and you get your message out, and who know, you know, there's no telling with the limits or the unlimited capabilities of television. There's no telling how many people you can reach. Versus, I mean, going to jail over this. And you know, the people in corporate America or the greedy folks that you're talking about, they can care less about you going to jail. They care less about you camping in the park.
No,
they care less about pitting us against each other.
What they care about is waiting to see when the full 99%, which includes the police officers, which includes everyone sitting on the city council, when they're going to stand with the people and not with the corporate plutarchy that we have going on.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And I'm telling you that we will help you in any way we can. We're just asking that you do not take over a city park after curfew is all we're asking. Okay.